All right, this is my Galaxy A10e, and this is a Cricket phone, and I used it for a number of years, and it's unlocked. And if you have one and you're not sure if it's unlocked, all you have to do is stick a SIM card from a different carrier in here, and it will come up and ask you, a different carrier card has been detected. Do you want to unlock this phone? Obviously, you hit yes, and that's all you need to do. But you have to have a SIM card. It doesn't have to be an active SIM card. It can be an old one that's not active anymore. The results will be the same. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to attempt to flash the firmware. So basically we're going to just erase everything and switch it to the firmware for a factory unlocked unit. Now this is a 102U, and what we're going to do is jump through some hoops to install the firmware for 102U1. That's the one, that's the firmware that will be for all carriers. Another benefit to flashing is that even though this phone is unlocked, no matter what you do, you wind up with Cricket bloatware on here, and I'll be able to get rid of all of that. Everything will be gone. And my two current phones I have are factory unlocked phones, and I'll tell you, once you have a factory unlocked phone without all the junk from the the low-cost phones that you buy directly from the carrier, you'll never go back. You'll pay the extra money. It's definitely worth it. So let me show you how to do that. Now, before we start, you want to back up everything on your phone, because and I'm not going to tell you how, because it could depend on how you do it, through Google, through Samsung, whatever, but back up everything, because at least the way I'm doing it, I'm going to erase everything in the phone. Here you want to go into accounts, and I would just simply close all your accounts, exit all of your accounts that are on the phone. Just get out of everything so you don't risk having any problems. So obviously make sure you have your username and password for any accounts that you need. Down below I will have a link to the XDA forums, and it'll be to the Odin patched, and there's a few different versions. You got regular Odin, several versions of those, as well as patched versions. I used the 3.141 patched version right here. So there may be some phones out there that you want to use 3.13, but 3.14 worked perfectly fine for me. So you'll need to download that and unzip it, and you'll be running that. I'll also have a link to a website which has loads of information, and by reading all this is how I learned how to do what I did on this phone, as well as understanding what CSCs are, the different codes, as well as the different CSC codes. For instance, on this page down towards the bottom, United States, I'm changing it actually from AIO to XAA, unbranded is what I'm going for. And you can also see up here, they will give you additional info. XAA, United States of America, unbranded. Down below I will also have the website I used for the firmware for my phone, and it's samfrew.com, and go to firmware here. And first I would recommend you check region. And so I went with, what was it, XAA? Come on, there's a lot of stuff here. XAA. And then go to model. And when you choose the region, it'll knock out a lot of the models that you don't need or that you're not going to use. So in my case, it's a A10e, but the model number is not A10e, it's SM-A102. SM-A102. 102U1. Now my phone is an SMA102U, and if I try using regular Odin, actually, the software Odin is actually made by Samsung. So it's not like it's you know, just an independent person put it together. No, that's an actual Samsung product. That's an actual Samsung software, and if you go into a cell phone store, that's the software they would be using on your phone if they had to do anything to it. But since my phone is an SMA102U, Samsung Odin will not load the 102U1 software in there because it's going to look at it and say, hey, this is not the right phone for this software. It's going to block you from doing it. But the reality is that it is the right software for it. They just don't want you turning it into a factory unlock that way. So that's why we use the Odin patched version. It just turns off that flag that says, hey, you know, there's a discrepancy here between model numbers. I suppose that being said, if you grabbed a completely different model Galaxy phone, it would allow you to attempt to install the wrong software and hence brick your phone. So be cautious with that. Make sure you have the right software. What I'm demoing here on this video is my A10e phone. Other phones, you will be doing it the same way, but I can't say for sure whether it would be a U going to a U to a U1 software, or it could be something else. So it's going to be up to you to do your research to make sure that you have the correct software before proceeding. But for the United States, XAA is a good place to start looking, and then SMA10 or SMA model number, you know, if it's all the same until you get to a last digit down here, that should give you the indication of what you're working with. And of course, Google is your most valuable tool in a situation like that. When you extract your firmware files, oh, and by the way, on that website that I showed you, there's two different ways to download. Either you can pay them $3 and you'll get a very fast download. This is the only phone I'm doing, because when you pay, you get either one download or you can get a window of time for doing multiple downloads, as many as you want. I'm only doing this one phone. I wasn't sure if I was going to be successful, so I just did it the free method, which is a very low speed download. And as old and small as this phone is, and as small as the file is comparatively to other phones, it still took 2 hours. So it's basically, you can download anything for free, but you're going to do so at dial-up speed. So just keep that in mind. But when you extract it, this is what you will have. You will have AP, BL, CP, CSC, and home CSC. And I will explain all those to you in the next step when we're actually updating the phone. Alright, so you have Odin patched, extracted. You have your firmware files extracted and ready to go. You have your phone powered off. And now your first step will be to open Odin, and it'll bring you to this screen here. And now our next step is going to be to power on the phone and hook it up. So I have the phone plugged into the USB cord plugged into the computer. You want to hold down volume up and volume down, and then hold down the power button. And that will bring you to this warning screen. It tells you custom OS, blah, blah, blah. Volume up to continue, volume down to cancel. So we are going to hit volume up, and that puts us into downloading mode. And now that we are in downloading mode, you will see that this box has now turned blue. It says COM5, whatever, added, removed, added. That just tells us that Odin has successfully attached itself to the phone. So now we are going to use these buttons over here. Hit BL and you choose, see BL, this is my A10e firmware that I'm updating to. And you see up here it's the UE1, the 102U1 software that I want. That should unlock the phone for any carrier. So first we're putting in BL. Then we're going to put in AP. Now be warned, AP is a large file. You can see it right there. And it will take a little bit of time to add that file. And now we will add CP right here. Now there's CSC, you have two choices. There's CSC and Home CSC. Home CSC will leave, from what I understand it, I'm not doing it this way, it will leave like all your contacts, all your other data, apps, whatever, intact on the phone, whereas just CSC is going to wipe everything. Now, if you're simply doing an update, I don't know, maybe your carrier no longer updates your phone, but there are updates out there that you can put on there. You would use Home CSC. Do your research before doing that, because I don't know if you would only need certain files in order to do that. But in my case, I am wiping everything on the phone, so I'm doing CSC regular. Okay, those are in there. And now we are ready to go. You can double check options, auto reboot, and reset time. You want both those checked. Ignore everything else. And PIT, ignore that also. Okay, so now we are ready to go. And all I have to do is hit start. And this will take some time. So I have a real-time clock sitting next to the phone, and I will speed up the video so you can watch what kind of time elapses. Okay, it has passed, and the phone will now reboot. I can unplug the USB cable, and then it should reboot into a recovery mode, and it should ask me to reset the phone. Let's see what happens. Okay, well that's a bonus. it went directly to the start screen for you to set up your phone to use for the first time, as if you just bought it, took it right out of the box. So let me get the phone all set up to go, and then we will have a look and see what we have, see if all the Cricket software is gone. So the update's all done, and it went through a factory reset, so I had to go through all the steps that you go through to set up the phone. And now, start it up here. We no longer have any of the Cricket wireless splash screens or anything coming up. It just goes right to Samsung. And when it's finished booting up, we have a very basic, bare bones selection of apps. In fact, there is, I think, only one page here, so we don't have any of that Bing stuff. I know a lot of times now you scroll to the right and you'll get a whole news feed thing. All of that's gone. It's very just absolutely basic, nice and clean, so you have no bloatware wasting your resources, which is important on an older phone which has less memory. And then let's go to and see what we have. In Samsung we have 2 apps. In Google we just have those 4 basic apps, and this is it. There's no 2 pages of apps. It's very clean, and now I can just put on there what I want. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.